I'm Jody. I'm the team lead of advising in kinesiology, and I'm just here to moderate today, do a few introductions, and make sure everybody keeps getting admitted. I just want to let everyone know that this is being recorded, and we're asking that all questions be held until the very end, and then we'll get to all of those.
That'd be wonderful.
Okay, we'll start and I'll just keep admitting people as they join. Yeah, so welcome to you at UCalgary, everyone, and to the Faculty of Kinesiology. We're so excited, totally pumped that you guys applied and accepted your offers and are well underway for setting yourselves up for first year in Kines. And I just wanted to give you some information about the faculty, and then I'll introduce your presenters today. So Reeb, if you can go to the next slide, that would be great. So welcome. It's Saturday. We really appreciate you joining us at 9 a.m. or earlier, wherever you are tuning in from today. This morning, myself, team lead of advising, Jody McGill. We have two student presentations, one Landon Foley and Areeb Kayum. And at the very end, we'll do a question and answer. So please hold your questions to the end. Two important things that you'll find in today's presentation is a REX challenge. That REX challenge will be sent to you via email after today's presentation. And if you complete it, you'll be eligible for some scholarships. The very second to last slide before we do a QA is a QR code. The QR code will enable you to get an early registration date. It'll take you to a survey. If you complete the survey, you'll be given an early time and date for course registration, which is really a great thing. It's really beneficial if you can get that. So two things to watch your email after. If you have a UCalgary email set up already, yay for you, that's fantastic. And that's what all emails from the university will go to. So on to the next slide. So a little bit about the faculty. Many of you probably know that we're the #1 sports science school in North America, as the slide says. There's about 1,100, well, there's 1,160 undergraduate Kines students right now, about 40 plus faculty members, and there's 3 advisors, myself, Erin, and Megan. Erin is from Victoria, BC originally. I'm from Victoria, BC originally, and Megan's from Cape Breton. So we come from very diverse backgrounds. Some of the faculty members are from other countries outside Canada, and some are from local. So, and actually completed their degrees at UCalgary in kinesiology. So lots of diversity within. One of the great things about kinesiology at the University of Calgary is the umbrella of Kines holds the academic program, so undergrad programs, but also a human performance lab where there's immense amounts of research done. Dinos athletics, Landon can speak more to that. We have the Olympic Oval, which is it's the only one in short track in Canada. The active living, which is the gym. There's also a pool, there's the outdoor center, there's outdoor center rentals, a track, tons of classes and activities that you can sign up for. We also have a sports medicine center, so lots of the public can access that, as well as some really high performance athletes. So those are all things that kind of tie into your academics in the Faculty of Kinesiology, in the fact that those all are tethered in some way to the education component. We value experiential learning. We don't base on what the next YouTube star or TikTok star is doing. It's based on science, it's based on research, and you'll have lots of opportunities within your degree to participate or get a better understanding of research. We are an active faculty. Some of your courses will have activity involved, so you're going to have to participate. You can't sit in the corner and be shy. It's a really great chance to get to know your classmates and to get, push yourself a little outside maybe your comfort zone or try something new. So just be aware of that, some of those courses you're going to be running around or doing beep tests or riding a bicycle in the ex-phys lab. So just be aware and be prepared for that and be open to those opportunities. A couple of things we get a lot of questions about is the difference between Kin and a BSc in kinesiology. They're both in the Faculty of Kinesiology. They both require 40 courses to get the degree. The only difference is with the BSc, 21 of the 40 courses have to be science-based, where the BKin, you could do arts courses or architecture or things that aren't as science-based. The one thing I will tell you that you could do right now to make your experience the best possible heading into fall is to follow the KSS, the Kines Student Society. Hashtag KSS UCalgary, you'll find them on Instagram, you'll find them on Facebook for old ladies like me. And I know they have been talking about setting up a TikTok account, but I highly encourage you after today, follow them because they have lots of events and lots of opportunities for mentoring, for different types of activities that they run. So yeah, please do, you know, rather than listening to someone like me, that's going to show you the student experience for sure. So definitely take a moment to follow those guys. So we're going to start off with Landon Foley today, and Landon's going to tell you about himself. So yeah, I'll hand it over to Landon.
Awesome. Thanks, Jody. So hi, everyone. Thanks so much for coming this morning. Really appreciate it. And also your interest in UCalgary. It's the Faculty of Kinesiology is an amazing place. And yeah, I'm excited to share my experiences that I've had so far through 2 years with you. So as Jody mentioned, my name is Landon. I'm currently just finishing my second year. I'm in the Bachelor of Science in the Exercise and Health Physiology major. So that's one of the more science focused majors within the faculty. And we can talk a bit more about that later with the different majors as well and the differences. But yeah, so a little bit about me. I'm originally from Vancouver in BC, came out to U of C just because part of the big thing, I wanted to move away from home and get that experience kind of living on my own. And then the faculty, when I toured U of C, was just blew me away. I was like amazed at all the resources they had available and all the opportunities that seemed to be open. So I came to U of C and lived in residence for my first year. And then now this past year, I've actually, I became a community ambassador. So here in U of C, we call it a CA, but in other schools, it's called an RA or a DON. And so this is a job within the residence community where I live on a floor with residents, usually first year residents. And then in that sense, I like schedule programming and events. And also I'm like a key support source for students. So if any of you are coming to U of C and living on residence next year, you will have a CA. It could maybe be me, I don't know, but yeah. And if you have further questions about residence or anything like that, just let me know at the end because I can certainly answer those. As well, I'm also an athlete, so I'm on the Dinos rowing team. So that's also like I've experienced being an athlete and balancing that with school. So yeah, if you have questions about that as well, let me know because it can be, especially in the beginning, it can be a bit of an adjustment for sure compared to being a high school athlete. But yeah, and then as well, I'm a research assistant for the Sport Injury Prevention Research Center. So that's also located in the faculty. It's like another one of the labs in addition to the Human Performance Lab that Jody already mentioned. And so that's one of the cool things about U of C. We have some like amazing places that you can get really good experience. And the Sport Injury Prevention Center is actually sponsored by the International Olympic Committee, and it's one of 8 in the world. So it's the only one in Canada. I believe it's one of 2 in North America. So that's just another really unique thing about our faculty. And then lastly, I'm also the vice chair of the Resident Athletics Association. So this is a student-run organization that promotes healthy, active living in residence at the U of C. So that's just another thing that I've been able to kind of use my kines interests to kind of help out in the community. And then, yeah, so a few of my favorites here. Study spot Kinese has some great places to study. The lounge is really nice. And then also the aquatic center and the viewing area, that's also, I find very lovable. It's a bit unique in the sense that you get to kind of watch athletes while you study. But it's cool, especially being in a pool. I love the smell. And then, yeah, so some events like Crowchild Classic is really fun. So that's where the U of C Dinos play the Mount Royal Cougars at the Scotiabank Saddledome. So where the Calgary Flames play, the NHL team. That's a huge event. There's both schools come out in full drives. There's thousands and thousands and thousands of students. It's a really good time. And then kickoff as well, which is the first football game of the year. That's also a big one. I'm sure you'll all get to know this pretty relatively soon, but my favorite food vendor is Brew and Blends. So specifically the one located in kinesiology. And as you become a kines student, you'll soon learn why everyone loves it. And yeah, off campus, the Glenmore Reservoir is a really great place that I love going at. That's actually where I row. Beautiful place, especially in the mornings. And then hiking the mountains like in Kananaskis, also amazing. Another great thing about being in Calgary, you can take a weekend and go out on the mountains, super cool. And then, yeah, just some courses. So Kines 259 and 260, those are the first year courses pretty much. Probably the most essential ones, I would say, that everyone has to take in first year. So anatomy and physiology, they were amazing. Absolutely loved them. Dr. Reed Ferber and Dr. Carol Croker, the two professors, they do a fantastic job and they're absolutely amazing. So those are really good times. And then as well, just for upper year courses, I know you won't know these yet, but Kines 373, which I'm currently in, exercise physiology. So that's actually pretty much my major in one course. And that is also a lot of fun. And then 323, which is actually Dr. Carol Croker from 260 and 259. That's her follow-up course that you would take in second or third year. And that course as well is also fantastic because she's just an absolute blast. And yeah, Arib, if you don't mind, just shifting to the next slide. So I kind of outlined what a day in the life might look like for me. Keep in mind, this is it's a little mix between before COVID and during COVID. So both this year and last year. So yeah, so usually wake up, eat breakfast, walk to morning classes pre-COVID, or there would also be, I would have rowing in the morning. And then with COVID, fortunately was still able to row during the fall and then before the water froze. And then now I'm just as many of the Dinos athletes are, or all of them are working out on their own or in very, very small groups. During COVID as well, so the lectures are online. So you have to kind of create your own schedule with that. So a lot of the lectures, I usually have them a bunch after breakfast and kind of go through that in the morning. During pre-COVID times, between classes, always had a lot of fun just hanging with friends. We just find a bunch of different study spots based on where our next classes were. And I found I usually had groups of friends in each class that we'd go together to different areas and then kind of meet up at later times and such. So those would be ICT, science being the Kines atrium. And then, yeah, we have the fitness center, which is an excellent gym facility. And it's 2 levels. It has an indoor track as well on the second floor. So usually go there in the afternoon. As a science student, you'll often have labs. So those would be usually, I tended to create them in the afternoon and evening in setting my schedule. So usually have those later in the day. With the Residents Athletic Association, also our events are in the evenings. So I'd help run those as well. And then as a CA this year, I'm responsible for, part of my role is creating programming for residents within the residents community. So also do that usually in the evenings as well. Pre-COVID, prior to getting into some of the things that I am currently doing now. I had time for Intramurals. Also highly encourage you to join if you're interested in keeping active after coming out of high school. There's a lot of fun, a lot of different skill levels that you can join in. So I played hockey and volleyball. Those were a really good time and a really great way to kind of just take a break from the studying. And I found it really helped me because coming back after it, like I got to be with friends, I got to play the sports I love and have just a generally good time. And it'd still be I still got to play it there's some pretty high skill levels. So if you want to still play at a high level, but it's not as super competitive as maybe like elite sport that you played in high school, like definitely recommend. And then usually in the evenings, I just do some studying and just, some work. That's often at the TFDL, so the Taylor Family Digital Library, which is this one of the bottom pictures there as well. So that's a very common place for people to go to when they're studying. And then for Reeb, if you want to switch over to the next one. Sweet. Okay, so for myself, there's a few things that I kind of wish I knew right away coming in. So I hope to help share them with you now so that, and to help you take advantage of those things, because these are what I started learning these kind of, I would say, towards the end of first year, or even some of them really this year. And they've started to make a difference, big difference for me. So yeah, I hope these can also help you out. So a big thing, talk to professors, right? Just introduce yourself, get to know them. Whether this is online or in person, either or, doing both, just getting to know them makes a huge difference. The professors and faculty of kinesiology, they're all amazing. I have yet to have one who I would say is not considered one of my favorites. So they're all very personable and outgoing, and they're always thrilled to hear from students. So whether you're on Zoom or you're in person, it'd be really important to just get to know them, send them an email, talk to them after the class, just introduce yourself. You don't have to have anything specific to say really, but just try to get to know them, because making those connections can really help lead you to some really great places and provide you some really good opportunities. And that's actually what I found with myself, especially even in this year, related to career aspects, and getting advice for that has been super beneficial. And now that I have connections within the faculty, it'll make things a lot easier for me as I head into third and fourth year. And then kind of similar branch here, one big thing is just to be fearless, right? So coming into university, it's a big change, but this is where university is a lot different than high school, and it's really your time to become the person you want to be. So it's really just your opportunity to explore what you're interested in, or what you think you might be interested in, and just kind of see where things might kind of take you, because you don't really quite know. And you also might have some ideas of what you might want to do, or where you want to go, and then those could change as well. So it's important to just try things and just get involved as well, right? And as well, similar to that, cultivating new friendships is definitely something that you're going to do coming to a new faculty in a new school. And so I would just highly suggest you do all you can to just greet people, introduce yourself. Sitting down in a class in first year, I mean, no one really knows anybody. So the person sitting beside you is just as nervous as you are. So if you can make that step and introduce yourself and just try to get to know people, others will greatly appreciate it. And you'll find that you'll make some really good friends who are also very much similar to you. And I think for me, that was a huge thing, really getting to know people who are close to myself in terms of interests and personality, but then also slightly different in a way that will support me and challenge me as well. So creating those connections is incredibly important. I can't stress that enough. And it'll make a difference for you as well in terms of being productive, being able to follow things you love and be successful in your degree. And then lastly, I think a really important thing is balance. So this is kind of, again, similar kind of theme, but try to make time for the things and people that you love. It'll really recharge you for school. It's kind of easy, especially I found this year in the COVID world, to just bury yourself in school and not take that time for yourself. But eventually that's going to lead to burnout. And it makes things not quite as enjoyable when really this whole degree, this is your time to really enjoy things and be able to have like an experience in terms of growth and just learning about yourself. So it's really important that you just keep your own needs in mind as well as you go through schooling, and just take time for things and people that you love, and it will really help you recharge and refocus. And I always find for myself, sometimes I'm a very driven individual, so I find it hard to kind of make myself take a break sometimes. But when I do, and I'm able to do things that I really enjoy, it makes me come back to school very much like excited and eager to get going again. And then that shows up in my performance in like tests and stuff like that. So really important to just take care of your spouse, especially in this time too now with the uncertainty that we have.
Yeah, technology is always a nightmare on Zoom, and like every time I think I have it figured out, I definitely do not have it figured out. So, oh man. All right. Well, all of that being said, first of all, thank you, Landon. That was like very good advice and very good. That was a seriously like useful set of information that even I was just sitting there like, wow, I should really get involved more. You know, I really think this would help me as well. It was great. It was great. So all of that being said, welcome everybody to UCalgary. This event is normally done in person. It is very sad because I really liked doing this stuff in person, but here we are having to be stuck online with videos that don't work properly. So here we go. My name is Arib Qayyum. I am a third-year kinesiology student focusing on a mind science major. So this way I get to tell all of my like brown parents that I'm like, yeah, like I'm totally a neuroscience kid with like never having gotten the grades for neuroscience. So it works out pretty well for me. I'm not going to lie. No, but all things considered, this is a really fascinating major within kinesiology. There's a lot of different ones to choose from. And so if you want to pick one that is focused more on health and exercise physiology, or maybe you need to focus on coaching, maybe you're interested in focusing on actually the mind sciences and a bit more of the neuroscience aspects of how the human body works, a lot of different opportunities that are available on this front. So it's super good. I am really happy to meet all of you. So I want to start out with just a photo right here. So this is the first place that I ever visited on campus. This is the Paperclip. This is a little building, right? This is a little structure right outside the Kinesiology B building. We have a Kines A and a Kines B, different buildings. I always get lost, don't worry. And what we're looking at here is that on the very right-hand side of this photo, on the farthest leg toward us, that is where my Kines journey started. Now, unfortunately, it seems like the Kines journey for a lot of our recent years has been sitting in front of a computer screen. And it is a topic that nobody really likes talking about because it is super upsetting to have to take classes online. It is, you know, genuinely not one of my favorite things to do. But at the same time, I think recognizing and remembering that there is a physical place that will accept all of us, maybe in September, I would be hopeful, but we don't know. So this is where my campus journey begins. And to start it out, I totally was going to do a presentation based about how important balancing everything is. And then Landon just stole my thunder 100%. Now I just feel like I'm copying him, but we're going to give this a shot. So I've posted as a picture over here, a sample of what someone's schedule might look like. As you can see, there are a lot of classes that are blocked together. It depends on the courses you are taking. You don't always have to take just kinesiology courses. I got a chemistry thrown in there. I got a psychology thrown in there. There will be some courses with labs. There will be some times where you'll just have an awful lot of space in your university day. So it is an awful lot not like high school in that sense, where we recognize that every single day brings with it a completely new schedule. I have 0 days of the schedule. This was my last winter, I think. I had 0 days that were the exact same. So every single day was something a little bit new and a little bit exciting to look forward to. So you can see we have tutorials, we have labs, we have a lot of things that take up a whole bunch of time to fit into our schedule. And sometimes you're going to get really big pauses and you like sleep in until 2 p.m. But Don't tell my profs I do that one, please. Like that's going to be bad. So first things first, on the academic side of things, this is one of the big reasons that a lot of people choose to sign up for the Faculty of Kinesiology. Our academics, pretty spicy. I got to be honest. I really like them. So when we find a balance between things like classes, studying, our labs, our tutorials, and the homework that we do, it's not easy by any means. And honestly, this is kind of the daily grind people talk about when you're in university. It's not the most like exciting thing to ever do when you're sitting down and studying for an exam. Like this presentation came perfectly between the end of all of my end of semester projects and right before my exams. So like I'm internally panicking. I'm just trying not to show it right now. It's great. But yeah, so when it comes to the academic side of university, you will have scheduled classes, you will have scheduled labs, and there will be times that you're expected to show up to class. Now, it is not explicitly mandatory, but oh my, I do recommend going. No one's going to be checking if you are attending a class. There's no, it's a lot more hands-off. No one takes attendance or anything like that. It is your expectation now as an adult within university that you're able to attend your own classes. And unfortunately, yes, that even means signing on to the Zoom call on time. So I've seen a lot of you coming on at like 9:05 p.m. It's okay. It happens. It happens. Don't worry. And then secondly, so when it comes to classes, these are the courses that I really loved throughout my degree. Because I'm going into my 4th year, I'm almost done with this place and I'm kind of sad about that. These are the courses that I have that really stood out to me as something that was really entertaining, really informative, or just generally one of the really big reasons I was super excited to show up to university. As a super quick breakdown, Kines 201 is like gym class, but way more fun. It's like gym class, but like better than anything else you'll ever take. Kines 213 is a course on research in kinesiology. It gives you a very big overview on what things are interesting, how to approach a research paper, how to cite things properly. And again, it sounds like a very technical course, but it is super helpful for anyone who's interested in doing anything relevant to research. Kines 259, 260, we always combine these as a full year course. Anatomy, physiology. If you've ever wanted to memorize the entire human body from the inside out, now is your chance, because this is a very informative course. Kines 237 is actually a course about your nutrition. A really interesting aspect of the kind of entire functioning of the human body. And it's really critical to kind of understand the way that things that we put in help us get certain things out when we are exercising, when we are trying to achieve some sort of task. Everything in here that I have bolded, by the way, everything here that is bolded is a course that you will likely encounter in your 1st year. I ended up taking nutrition in my 2nd year because that's just how things worked out. But these are courses you'll experience very early on in your degree. Then anyways, we have Kines 323. This is still probably one of my favorite courses like ever. Integrative Physiology with Dr. Croker. You will love Dr. Croker, let me tell you. And this is a course that is really heavily focused on, is really heavily focused on how the different systems of the body work together, what changes occur in the lungs that will then be felt by the liver, felt by the kidneys. And it's really interesting to get to experience stuff like that and hear about it from an integrative standpoint. Kines 367, this is a course about adapting physical activity to a whole bunch of different populations. So for me, I have my summer job as a camp leader with the city of Calgary. So this course was really helpful for me because I encounter a lot of different populations as I'm trying to host games and activities for kids throughout the city. So knowing a lot of ways that I can benefit their ability to access physical activity, that helped me a ton. Kines 373, that's also their exercise physiology, probably one of the more advanced, in-depth kind of dives you get to take into the world of how does your body react to being put under stress when you're exercising, when you're actually out there in the field, what is going on inside of you to sustain everything that's occurring. Kines 495, this course is slightly depressing. It's a course on dying. It's just a little bit sad, but 495 really focuses on physiologically what is occurring as disease begins to appear in populations and what effects this has on the human body. And to quote Dr. Croker as like the most famous line is that disease pulls us away from homeostasis. And if you can correct, you go back to homeostasis. And if you can't correct, you die. And I'm just like, okay, yeah, that was a pretty accurate way to describe this course. And then finally, Kinesiology 503. There are a whole bunch of different 503 courses that are available. My specific one that I'm really into is a course on cerebral blood flow, an entire intensive that literally just talks about how can we get fuel up to our brain. And, you know, given that I'm a brain major, it's kind of important for me to know that because that is often overlooked in a lot of other courses that I take. Otherwise, though, university has a lot of other things to offer. As you can see here, I've thrown up a whole bunch of photos of different things I've been able to participate in throughout my career. So first things first, volunteering. I will get more into that in a little bit. One of the big reasons that like I've really been motivated to kind of stick with UCalgary throughout everything that I've been doing is the fact that there's just so many opportunities to get involved in the community. With Landon, we heard about things like sports. We heard about things like your residents community association and other similar things. Those are really critically important. And you know what? The list just gets better. It just keeps coming. And so when it comes to things like volunteering, the Alberta Children's Hospital is actually right beside the University of Calgary. And I will literally walk off of campus, go to the Children's Hospital, do a 4-hour shift where I get to just work with different hospitalized children, and I love it. It is so much fun, and it's a very fulfilling experience. And then I get to walk right back to campus and take a lab. Like, it's great. It really works out well together. Campus clubs, there are a ton of clubs that are run by the Students' Union of the University of Calgary. Literally anything that you were interested in. I am talking things like games, anime, like there's a lot of different things that they have available over here. Even cooking, they got a baking club, so hey. The SU basically just has an extremely large amount of clubs which are run by the students, which are managed by the students, and you just get to kind of enjoy things that you really like. So as you can see on the screen, I am a huge nerd for chess because, you know, because if I'm not going to be focusing on school, I might as well be like pretending to be a nerd elsewhere instead. So for me, I have a lot of fun with chess. The University of Calgary has a chess club. You can see the photo on the very far right of me having way too much fun during a game. It's a really fun time. And then obviously you can see on the bottom left that yes, things have been moved online, and it's a little bit less interpersonal, but still a really, really good time to hang out with people and do an activity that you really enjoy. Relaxing, this is literally just, I need to throw this in there because I always forget to do this myself, and I should really be taking more time for this. To find a balance that involves caring for yourself as well. And this also gets chunked in with staying active, making sure that the experience that you have at university is not the easiest thing you will ever go through in your life, but by no means is it this like terrible, crushing, like very sad like experience that you have to go through as well. It is a really fun thing, but there is always a really important place to be held that we need to be taking care of ourselves. And for me, this involves going on walks. That is my like very slow staying active, and then also like heavier exercise when it becomes necessary. Taking time, read a book. I got a book that my friend sent me. So it's too far away from me. I can't grab it right now. So there's a lot of different things that we can do kind of at university, be it with other people, or you don't have to be with other people if you're not feeling it all the time. In terms of campus initiatives, this is where I get to pop back into the volunteering program and everything else. So in 2019, this was me in my first year. I looked so tiny back then. It was great. So in my first year, I had an opportunity to, through the Leadership and Student Engagement Office, all y'all should sign up with the Leadership and Student Engagement Office. They're amazing. I had an opportunity to go to Toronto itself, literally just sit in a plane and fly over to Toronto for a week. And we learned about a whole bunch of different kind of global citizenship initiatives and kind of related events. So we got to volunteer at a whole bunch of different organizations in Toronto. We got to kind of pop into the University of Toronto and kind of like sit in on like a critical discussion revolving around these things as well. It was super engaging, and this was one of my absolute highlights of my first year. This program is very specific to just first year students. So they will take in literally anybody or anyone from their first year. So if there is something to be signed up for, if we are in person, and I think they even managed to run a really successful online one of these as well. So I made a bunch of friends sign up last year for that. So that was great. Pictured on the right, you can just see us. This is the former mayor of Toronto, and then her husband. It was pretty awesome to meet up with them at an art gallery, and then just us beside the famous Toronto sign at the bottom. It was great. I had so much fun doing this. They're not paying me to say any of this, but I had so much fun getting involved in this stuff. And then additionally, I have another photo just from the Toronto trip on the right-hand side. And then on the left, we can see actually this is our team, not the entire team, but a good chunk of the orientation leader team. I am on the orientation team. I've been on the orientation team pretty much since I had an opportunity to, because I really value events for our first years and our incoming students, because y'all are literally our future. I am an old man already. I'm about to graduate. So we need the young blood to come through. So you can see there's just, had a big orientation leader event at the end of the semester, and it was just a really great time. So events like orientation, not UCalgary, sorry, that's what you're at right now. Global citizenship in terms of the UCalgary Cares program. We have things that are like leadership on demand. This is literally, you spend a year just creating presentations for different groups of people. So all of this great public speaking stuff comes back into play if that's something you're really interested in doing as well. Okay, this is going to be a very fun little game, and it's going to be really difficult, and I don't know if all of you are going to be able to manage, okay? I even see Landon struggling right now, okay? That man's having a bad time. Okay, can you see any differences between orientation 2019 and 2020? I know it's hard, but I feel like you can see just even one small thing. And the answer is no, it's not my shirt. I'm even wearing the same shirt right now. All right, as you can tell, things have moved online, and I'm going to do a quick little dive into kind of my experience with online learning. This might become a reality for some of you because I still have no idea what's going to happen in September. And this is really important when it comes to classes, attending events, and doing just about everything in an online setting. So first of all, I just threw up a couple of examples of notes that you're going to kind of receive throughout the university experience. Usually professors will upload note packages to, yeah, I know, I see people making like weird faces at the screen right now. I know, it's crazy, it's scary, but that's okay, we got this, we got this. So the professors will upload a series of note packages that you get to use throughout the course of your degree. And so kind of you can use these to guide your learning and guide your understanding as you're really pushing for, more understanding and all that other wonderful stuff. So on the very left-hand side, this thing that talks about vasodilation, this was an aspect of our, I think it was Kinesiology 323, this course. And we're specifically talking about how the blood vessels within the body respond to being put under stress and what actually motivates them to dilate. How can we get more blood through the system at once? Beside that is Kines 365. This is a specific neuroscience course, and we talk about a whole bunch of different spinal tracts and what parts of the spine connect with what, and how can I have a thought up here in my brain and then make my hand move accordingly to it. It sounds a lot easier than it actually becomes as you focus more into it. Next course we have, this was, I lied, everybody, please forgive me. So the first course was Kines 503. This is on cerebral blood flow. I'm really sorry about that one. My third course, this is exercise physiology. Sorry about that. You can see on the bottom of the third set of things, on the third set that we have over here, there's a lot of different factors that play into how does our body respond to something like a muscle contraction. There's a whole bunch of different systems that become active and have to try to work together such that, you know, you don't fall over and die. So it's very critically important to make sure that we're able to do this. And studying this is super fascinating. And then finally, I had to throw it in on the right-hand side. This is Biomechanics 363. This course is terrifying, but it is so cool. Biomechanics is a very different experience of course load. And what it does really is that, first of all, for everyone who shied away from math class, they're going to bring it back just a little bit. That they throw you into this really wonderful world where you get to experience and learn more about physically, mechanically, what occurs in your body and how do your different tissues deal with it. When I am trying to when I'm trying to like set my one arm max of like 4 pounds or something because my arms are noodly, but when we're trying to set a maximal weight record or something like that, how do our bones sustain that load differently than our muscles? How do our tendons play into this? How do our ligaments function and work together? And you get to learn about all of these different things and how they work in conjunction with one another in order to sustain a load. So you can see on the middle section of that, we focus on there's a big maximal stress due to bending equation that you get to focus on. You have something like a femur, and because we know bones are mostly hollow, well, not hollow, but they're full of bone marrow and not necessarily cortical hard bone on the outside. We actually use different mathematical equations to describe exactly what occurs at what point of the body. Biomechanics has been one of the most interesting courses I've ever taken. And I honestly really enjoyed the experience. It has been a really interesting time. So yeah, there are a lot of courses when we take them online specifically that lecture notes get uploaded. And you can see on the biomechanics side, I chose to include some of the actual writing I was doing on the side to kind of express that, like, like things that are done online. I take notes on my computer. I try to make sure that I'm covering all of the important bases. And for me, this has been a really important part of kind of getting used to the online world, is really kind of throwing myself into it and making sure that it doesn't feel that different from when classes are in person and when I'm able to actually show up and, you know, attend courses and whatnot. So yeah, you get a lot of complicated stuff when you get to throw yourself into the world of kinesiology. All of this will make so much sense by the time that you were finishing with your first and your second years. Because right now it just looks terrifying. I'm looking at it and I'm getting terrified, and I have to study this stuff this semester. Oh man, or last semester, I guess. And then the big questions. Some of these questions look a little bit ridiculous, but at the same time, these are very reasonable things to be confused or to be worried about when you are first signing up for university. When we talk about questions that I experience from a lot of other students entering the program, okay, so you know how Jody told you all to follow the Kines Student Society at the very beginning of this? Okay, so there are two different organizations that govern Kines student experience. One of them is the Kines Student Society, and they're amazing. And the other one is actually the Kinesiology SU representative. Now, this is where I get to plug myself. That's me. Hi, I'm very excited. The Kines SU representative focuses a lot on trying to make this first year transition as straightforward as possible and being available for all of you right now, looking at you at the camera right now, trying to be available for you to make sure that I'm able to, trying to be available to make sure that the transition into first year is kind of as seamless as possible. There will be a couple of bumps along the way, but learning to work with those is like the definition of a university student. So it'll be excellent. It'll be excellent. So in terms of questions over here, how can I make friends? So Landon focused on this very well as well. He said that getting involved on campus, there's a lot of different ways to do it. This is one of the big things we focused on in this presentation, is that there's a lot of different classes, there's a lot of different other opportunities, extracurriculars that you can focus on. And if you really get to be yourself, if I get to sound all preachy for a minute, if you really get to just enjoy who you are as a person and kind of focus on the things that really interest you, you will find people with common interests. You will find people that enjoy the same things you do. And you will actually make an astronomically large amount of friends. And not just like people you meet, but people that you will know for literally the rest of your life. And it is terrifying for me to think that, because like, I'm gonna go old. I don't want to get old, but you know, what's gonna happen. And it's really, really, really important to kind of embrace experiences that are very relevant to things that interest you, because you will find people that are like that. So right on the side, I have one of my friends who I just sent them a message and I'm like, hey, well, what do you want to tell the first years about like making friends? And this is their reply, saying that they really encourage people to get involved on campus. It is probably one of the best ways to make friends over here. Manage your time, make sure you don't miss out on stuff because you're getting busy on schoolwork all the time and stuff. Take things week by week and don't get super overwhelmed with everything you have to do. And I think that's really good advice. So special thank you to her. She didn't want to be named, so I will keep her anonymous for now. In terms of what is the best food on campus, Landon kind of spoiled it again. Brew and Blends is a great smoothie place. They have sandwiches. They have a lot of great stuff there. It's like just in the Kines building. You literally walk out of your anatomy lab, take like 4 steps to the right, and it's right there. It's great. Just wash your hands in the meantime, though, please. And it's really helpful to kind of have some food right there on right beside you whenever you need something to drink. They have like incredible smoothies and like other like things. It's excellent. Like I tried one in my first year, always went back. There's a lot of other food on campus that's available in what we call the McEwen Hall or the McEwen Student Center. These are a whole bunch of other food vendors. So we got things like an A&W in there and a couple of other traditional things. My favorite one is called Bake Chef. All of y'all are going to hear about Bake Chef as you go through your university degree. It is like the greatest like version of Subway you will ever experience. It is like, I wish I was kidding when I said it is life-changing. It is so good. So definitely I got to go with Bake Chef or Brew and Blends. Both of them are amazing. Next one, are the professors scary? When I put this question in, I was kind of laughing to myself because I'm like, are they really going to be worried about this? But I had to think about myself in first year, and I was dead terrified of some of these professors, not because they were intimidating people, but because I'm looking at the culmination of like 35 years of like harsh education. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, these guys have been in school longer than I've like been breathing. This is terrifying. That being said, the professors in kinesiology have always been, and again, they're not paying me to say this, they have always been a step above pretty much everything else I've ever experienced in my university career. I see Landon nodding as well, that I don't even know how to describe it, but kind of the level of connectedness you get to feel with your professors. the level of understanding that you get to create with them, especially if you're willing to reach out and make that connection with them by just literally attending class and sitting toward the front of it. These professors will know you. They will recognize you. And if you ever want to talk to them, I was in my second year, I was walking down the hallway, heading into my children's hospital shift, and literally my neuroscience professor just walked up beside me. He was like, "Hey, Reeve, how are you doing?" And I'm like, "Oh God, you remember me? How did you remember me?" It was incredible. So like it will be intimidating for a while to kind of be surrounded by so many hundreds of people in your classes, to have like professors of like incredible academic accreditation in front of them. But we are all people at the end of the day. As sociology likes to tell us, we are all social beings and we all really like to connect. And they are not scary. I will tell you right now, they are a very, very worthwhile resource to take advantage of, to learn about, and to just get connected with in general. Is the degree hard? See, I wish I didn't have to include this question, because everybody asks me, "Hey, Reeb, is this degree hard?" Like, how do I answer that? How do I know what you're interested in? If you are really into it, it doesn't even feel like you're struggling or anything like that. Like literally in the middle of my exams, I'll just be like, yeah, like I'm like, this is a cool question that they asked, and like just completely forget. I'm like, oh yeah, this is really determining my GPA. I should be focusing. And it's great. So is the degree hard? I think this degree is, it is very content heavy. There's a lot of work that is involved in making your way through it. I'm not even done through it, and I think I felt the full force of a lot of very content-heavy classes. But does that necessarily make it difficult or unmanageable? I would say absolutely not. I would say we can definitely manage things that we are doing if we, drum roll please, find a balance. It's crazy, it's crazy. Yes. I thought Jody just unmuted herself for a minute.
Yeah, I am. Reeve, I just wanted to say we have about 10 minutes left for the presentation. And I want to just make sure that everybody gets a chance and knows that question and answers will be open at the very end, just for those who have joined a little bit late.
Ooh, very exciting. All right, I will go super, super quick then, just to finish this up really quick. Best place to study, Landon already said it, the Aquatic Viewing Center. Gotta love it. It was excellent. What do labs look like? You show up to labs. There's a lot of different things that you can experience inside of these labs. One of my favorite ones from 259, there are just literal people there. You can just poke around in what used to be a human being, and, well, not poke around physically, but like, you know, like get very close and learn about some of the structures that are inside of the human body, and really augment your anatomy knowledge from there. And where can you find extra support? That's why Jody's here, by the way. She focuses really heavily on student support. And if any question you ever have about the degree, you should always be heading over to her. And all of that being said, I just wanted to thank all of you so much for showing up and hanging out with us today. Welcome to the Faculty of Kinesiology. It is such an honor to meet all of you, and it's going to be a good time. Have an amazing rest of your day. But first,